Well, ladies and gentlemen, while we are waiting for the next big tournament to happen, we have another drag race tournament for you. And without skipping a single beat, let's meet the first group. We have the Cybertub, Craigster Sr., Boondocks, and Daniel M.G. Now, I believe the way this tournament will work is that we'll have 2 days where 8 racers will move on, and then days 3 and 4 we'll divide the ones who moved on in half, and then the last video will be the finals. But as we end that first drag race already, I think that was Craigster Sr., it was, that finished in first with a 2.59. You're going to see a lot of quick races, but that's why there are 4 groups in this video instead of the usual 2. In race number 2, it is Craigster Sr. out in front, but Daniel M.G. is right on his tail. Can he catch him? No! They do bump into each other a little bit at the very end, but Craigster Sr. gets a new fast time of 2.57. This is going to be rapid fire, so hold on to your hats. Craigster Sr. already has 2 wins, 1 more, and he automatically is the one moving on. The other 3 will fall short. He just needs his last win. It looks like he's going to be able to do it. So Craigster Sr. will already be the first one moving on to our grand finals, if you will, of this drag race tournament. Finishing with the same time of 2.57. So now it's just a victory lap for Craigster. Let's see what he does with it. Now, all these races are from the last tournament, I believe, so everyone has a chance to redeem themselves. That being said, Craigster Sr. is the one moving on, hasn't lost a race yet, and he finished with a 2.58 that time around. It also looks like something got knocked loose on the Cybertruck lane. Ooh, yeah, something got knocked loose there. Hopefully everyone's okay. Looked like they had just enough height that they hit the sign on the way through. Now, Craigster Sr. is the one moving on out of this group, and now we move on to the second one. And the second group contains Junkyard Dog, David White, Dusty Miles, and Rico the Robot. We've seen at least 2 different racers that feature dogs on the top of their vehicle, and so far they unfortunately have not had the greatest track record. But now Dusty Miles, on the first race in the drag race tournament for them, now have the new fastest time of 2.55. You're probably not going to get too much faster than that, considering how quick these races are. But we shall see. Dusty Miles now has the lead. Will someone be able to take that away from him? He's out in front, Rico the Robot. Looked like he was in second, and then goes David White. But David White grabs second, Rico in third, I believe. Dusty Miles gets another win. Now, with the way this track is laid out, it's bound to be a lot closer most of the time, considering they don't have as much time to spread out. But now Dusty Miles just needs 1 more win. And these long stretch vehicles did really well in the last tournament, and it seems like there won't be any exception to that here, as Dusty Miles grabs a 3rd win, and he will move on. I believe 2.55 is still the fastest time we've seen so far, but there are plenty of opportunities to break it. But now it's Dusty Miles moving on, joining Craigster Sr. The other 3 just want to stop Dusty Miles from being undefeated. Can they do it? They start the race, Dusty Miles gets an early lead, and the other 3 quickly fall behind, and Dusty Miles grabs a 4th consecutive win, with a 2.54 that time. Anytime a speed record is broken, it's probably not going to be by much. So now half of the groups have gone. We will now move on to the other half with group number 3. And group number 3 has Big C, Cloaked After Dark, Numbskull, and Nomo. I believe some of these racers, or at least 1 or 2 of them, weren't always able to stay on their feet, but it should be a lot easier here. And for this race, I think that was Numbskull that got the win, but we'll have to check the replay just to be sure. I believe that was Numbskull, but Big C got really close. So it's still anyone's game at this point. And now race number 2, they're taking off down the hill. Numbskull does have a slight lead, but here comes Big C. Can he catch him? No, he can't. Numbskull grabs another win, finishing with a 2.6. Right now I believe the fastest time is 2.54, but I'll look back at the footage later to be absolutely certain. Now it is Numbskull's turn to get one more win to move on. Let's see what happens. He is now on the end lane. Let's see if that affects him at all. He is in front, but we got two racers right on his tail, and they just could not catch him. Numbskull grabs a third consecutive win, and now he has stamped his position in the Drag Race Grand Finals. And now it's the other three who are trying to keep him from being the third consecutive racer to be undefeated. But it looks like it's going to be difficult as Numbskull grabs an early lead and uses that to his advantage to get the win. Finishing relatively consistent throughout all four races. But it will be Numbskull being the one that'll move on. So far we've had everyone who finished in first finish in nothing but first. Let's see if the fourth group will provide a racer with similar results, which has Boomershine, Wild Willie G, Jesus, and T-Ball. And as we begin the race, one of them quickly falls behind, the other three are right next to each other. I'm honestly not sure who got that one. It looked like Jesus was the one who fell behind, but I'm not quite sure who got that win. It looks like it might have been Boomershine. And it was! But that was very close. I wouldn't be surprised if Boomershine did not get all four wins, but if they do, good for them. And now we begin the second race. Similar things are going on right now. Boomershine does have a little bit more of an edge this time around, so he will get a second consecutive victory. This is definitely a nail-biter with how close these three have been already. But now Boomershine is the next racer to just need one more win. But it's not as clean-cut this time around. Now we begin the second race. It looks like he's actually trailing a little bit, and Wild Willie G gets the win. Boomershine will not be undefeated. They do finish around the same time that Boomershine has been so far with a 2.58. But Boomershine is not guaranteed to move on, even though their chances are still really good. If Wild Willie G can finish in front of Boomershine again, we may have a tiebreaker on our hands. And here we go. It looks like Wild Willie G does actually have the lead. I'm not entirely sure, though. I think Boomershine might have grabbed it at the last moment. Wild Willie G did at least start out with the lead, which is what he needed. But it looks like Boomershine might have grabbed it from him right at the finish. And that is exactly what happened, so Boomershine will still be moving on. So now we have the first four of the roster for the Drag Race Grand Finals. Thank you all so much for watching. See you for day 2.